What's up, everybody? Get the music turned off here. I just like it so much. Um, what's going on, everybody? This is the Snobs special. I had to come in and I wanted to talk about the Oscars. Again, I'm angry. Again, I don't know what to make of it. It's just frustrating. It's truly frustrating that an organization and an award show that has been around for almost 100 years of this. And I feel like at this point, they're just trolling us because everything that gets nominated is always self-indulgent BS. All right, I'm being unfair. Let me take it back. Let me step it back. And I don't want to go on a rant. I know me coming on live and stuff like that. It seems like a classic Nick Manhattan rant, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save my rant for the Scene Snobs podcast, which will be tonight at 9 p.m. You can check that out. I have one. I want to talk more about the problems that we have with the Oscars. The problems that we have with the Oscars are they don't listen to the audiences. It's not for the audiences. The Oscars are and have been for a very long time, for the people. Not okay. I gotta take it back again because I'm wrong. It's for the people who are above the line in the film industry. It's for the directors. It's for the producers. It's for the actors. They put these movies out and they nominate them, and they nominate what they think should go down in history as showing people what Hollywood truly is. And this is where I get annoyed because it's never what people truly love and desire. Now, I'm not saying there's no place for these movies. I mean, let's look at the Best Picture nominations for this year. And I have a little bit in depth. I'm going to go back a couple of years, talk about some different things. But this year, and I have watched a lot of these movies so far, not all of them, and I will admit to the ones I haven't seen, but a lot of these movies I've seen. Belfast, very good movie. Coda, really, I was very surprised by the movie. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but it was really well done. Don't Look Up. You can go watch my review. I like Don't Look Up. I thought it was really fun. It's a very self-indulgent movie, not a very self-aware movie, because everybody who's in it is also part of the problem that they're perpetuating, and they are metaphorically speaking about in that movie. But whatever, you can get into that's a whole different topic to discover. But it was a good movie. Drive My Car, haven't seen it. Dune, I am on record very deep that I hate the original Dune movie. I hate it. It is one of the worst movies ever made, second to The Sound of Music, which I'm not, again, getting into in this forum. But this Dune, I truly loved. And I thought it was fantastic, and everything was great about it. In fact, on this list is probably my front runner, if not this next one, King Richard. King Richard was a delightful movie. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Should be nominated. Licorice Pizza, have not seen it. I've heard great things. I'm going to check it out. Nightmare Alley, have not had a chance to check it out yet. It's Guillermo del Toro. I know I'm going to enjoy it, but we'll see. Because I have also heard other things. The Power of the Dog. The Power of the Dog is well acted. It's not the greatest story. It looks pretty, but not that pretty because it's trying to be gritty. And I've seen way better in terms of this year. West Side Story. Awesome. We got Steven Spielberg back in it for a remake. And a remake, mind you, I don't think we needed. Again, it was more self-indulgent than anything to make this movie. I don't think we needed it because the performances in this version did not top the performances in the other version. It's not as good. The movie that was made in the 60s seemed true because it took place in the 60s. This movie just seemed like they were trying to copy that with a little more flair and Spielberg-esque look. These are your best picture for 2022. I have a big problem with that because we don't have movies that we truly adored this year on there. Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, I have an argument for this. And I'm going to say this right now. Spider-Man No Way Home was not only, out of all the movies I watched last year, the best one. It is one of the highest grossing movies of all time. And this is where I'm going to get into the problems with the Oscars and how they have no respect for superhero movies unless it, and I hate to say this, unless it further tries to prove them as woke. Now, what do I mean by that? Of course, I'm talking about Black Panther. Now, but hear me out first, because it's not what I mean here is Black Panther probably should have won Best Picture of 2018. It was snubbed. It got in because the Academy is a bunch of bullshit, but it absolutely deserved to be there. Here's my argument. There were other superhero movies that probably deserved to be nominated that year just based on sheer popularity alone. Black Panther should have taken home the award. Should have taken home the award anyway out of everything that was nominated, but it didn't. It did not take it. Green Book took it that year, and Green Book was a nice movie. I liked it. Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali were fantastic in the movie. It is not the best picture. And the problem with the best picture winners that we see in a lot of these movies is that they're not remembered. Okay, movie fans may remember what won. I remember what won because I went back years ago and watched every best picture winner. All the way from the beginning of time, and I still continue to do that to this day to make sure I watch the best picture winner at least. I try to watch them all, but at least that. Looking at the lineup from the 2019 Oscar Awards, which of course covers the 2018 movies, we have Green Book, which won the Best Picture. Black Panther, better movie, should have won. Black Klansman, better movie. Shouldn't have won because Black Panther was a better movie than that. But it was, Black Klansman was amazing. Bohemian Rhapsody, dog shit. The Favorite. I probably just said that and you remember. Either you remember that it was an actual movie or you don't know what I'm talking about. Roma, probably the same there. A Star is Born. Pretty good movie. Remake like 4 times over. Pretty good movie. I would not put it above Green Book. I would not put it above Black Panther for sure. And I would not put it above Black Klansman. Vice. That movie sucked. Christian Bale's performance in it was very good. And I could see him being nominated. But the movie overall was terrible. And I get so annoyed by that because everybody's like, well, Adam McKay made it, this, that, and the other. I know what he made. And I know what he can do. I've seen his other movies. Big Short, great movie. But anyway, I digress. So to use Black Panther as sort of a model for the fact that superhero movies and widely popcorn movies in a whole are completely disregarded. Horror movies, I can do a whole show just on how horror movies are completely disregarded by anything. And that's bull. But the Black Panther was like the first superhero movie in a long time that's been nominated, first of all. And they nominated at a time where Oscar So White was just the year before. So we know why the Academy was nominating these movies that, again, I digress, 100% deserve to be nominated. Green Book deserved to be nominated. Black Klansman deserved to be nominated. Black Panther deserved to be nominated. I still maintain that Black Panther should have won. But when is the right reason? When is something coming in and it's done for the wrong reason, but it's still the right choice? The Oscars, this isn't the first time. They may have gotten it right that year with these movies, but they nominated them against a bunch of other dog shit movies. But then they don't even pick the best movie within that. They pick the movie that best represents Hollywood to them, how they want Hollywood to look. If somebody from the outside's looking in, they want everybody to say, Green Book won, not that superhero movie, which was better. And then you go through and look at the best actor. Let me pull it up. Hold on one sec. Actor in a leading role. Who wasn't nominated? Chadwick Boseman wasn't nominated. So it's nominated for and that's the thing. It's just nominated for Best Picture. And remember, this is the same organization that was talking about that year and the year before and such, with all these superhero movies coming out, creating a special, not Best Picture, a special category for popcorn movies, really. They have no respect for the movies that the audiences love. The audiences want to choose for them to represent us. And this is what we have. And I'm so tired of this BS, because the year after that, if you go to 2020 nominations, which would be 2019, 2020 Oscar nominations. And what's not nominated? So you get Joker, which is we know why Joker was made. And I maintain that Joker is still not that great of a movie. But if you go back and you're in 2020, what came out in 2019? I wonder. What could have come out in 2019 that could have been nominated? All right, sorry, I just need to pull that up. So, in 2019, Avengers Endgame came out. Spider-Man Far From Home came out. I would still argue Detective Pikachu is a good movie. I liked it. Captain Marvel came out. Shazam came out. All movies we liked. Rise of Skywalker came out, but I'm not arguing for that. So just hang in there with me. Jumanji, the next level, was a good one. The first Jumanji was even better. Not nominated. You go through these movies. You go through these movies that have come out, and then you go to the Oscar winners. And of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love the movie. I thought it was great. 1917, big war epic, really good. Ford versus Ferrari, good movie. Not great. Let's be real. It wasn't great. Jojo Rabbit, one of the best movies. I agree it should have been nominated. Joker, I didn't like it. Now, I now realize the masses did. The masses did like it, so I'm glad it was nominated. But it wasn't nominated because it did well. And AJ, I appreciate you jumping in. I'm going to bring you up in just a second, but I just want to finish my rant a little bit. And again, this isn't really even my rant. Parasite was the best movie that year. I'm not going to take that away. Parasite was the best movie that year that fits within the mold. You put Avengers Endgame on there, and it wins. If you let, other than Hollywood stuffy figureheads that run that business, including actors, producers, directors, the whole nine, Avengers Endgame wins. If you let the people decide, it wins. One of the highest grossing movies of all time. And it wasn't even nominated. But at the same time, put it up. Why not nominate it? Because you leave it out purposely. You'll have 10 movies one year. Look at it, 2019. You go down to the Best Picture. And I'm sticking mostly with Best Picture because we can get into everything and how everything gets screwed. I mean, Spike Lee, how long did it take Spike Lee to get an Oscar? They're self-indulgent bullshit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 from 2018 that were nominated in 2019. And in 2020, which is the 2019 movies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can nominate up to 10. You can, but you purposely leave things out. And that's bullshit. Because one year they only nominated 5 because they're like, oh, we're going to try and do 5 this year, so we're going to have to cut a lot out because they didn't want to nominate another Avengers movie. that did fantastically. And it's such utter bullshit what they're doing. And they don't listen to the masses. They, the audience that goes and sees these movies, supports these movies, is touched by these movies, loves these movies. And then in the 2020 Oscars, we get Marriage Story. I don't know if you've seen that dog shit, but it is dog shit. It is not. First of all, they called it Marriage Story, and it's completely and 100% about a divorce. How about this? Call a movie Marriage Story and show us the trials and tribulations of two married people trying to make it work with all of the pressures of life weighing them down, and the stresses and the feelings and the growing and everything else. Write that movie, Hollywood, and call it Marriage Story. Or have the balls to call Marriage Story Divorce Story, which is what it is. Kramer versus Kramer at least showed you they're going to go head to head. Marriage Story. Complete bullshit. Little Women remake. It was good. And I don't mind remakes. But come on. The Irishman. I like The Irishman. But I know I'm in the minority of liking The Irishman. And I understand why people don't like The Irishman. And the more and more I go on, the less I'm like, it was a tough one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino. Love that movie. Jojo Rabbit probably should have. Oh, it's so tough with that year because Parasite was really good. But it's a moot point. It's a moot point. Oh, no, Parasite, I don't even think won. I think it was 1917 might have won. I have to double check it, but think about that. I don't even remember what won that year because it should have been Endgame. But this is what the Oscars do. So I want to talk about this year. I want to talk about what they've nominated this year. And we've talked about, I went over like the choices, but how, when you've experimented in movies, and I think that's what you need to be doing. You need to experimenting with new things. And it's funny because we are getting adaptations of famous literature, and I'm going to call it literature. Comic books are literature. It's a part of the American way of life. And for some reason, they can't be accepted in because they're too juvenile. I go back to thinking about that story that Stan Lee told way back in the day when he would go to parties and they'd ask him what he does, and he would just be like, I'm a writer. And when they'd press him, he was almost a little too nervous to tell them that he was a comic book writer. And let's be honest, like as much as you can say, and I respect the shit out of Jack Kirby forever. Ever. Steve Ditko, his version of Spider-Man and many of his characters, the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen. I have some of it hanging. But these are men who are at a time doing something, creating something that lasts way more than probably 90% of the books that get written. Because remember, a lot of books get written. A lot of books. And we couldn't even touch down on a fraction of reading them in our lifetime. A lot of books. So if I say 90%, I feel like it's a healthy range. And they've given us characters that stand the test of time and are being rejuvenated and adapted for the screen now that work in ways that are just mind-bending and giving us stories that are so beautiful. Let's face facts, if you read comic books, Infinity Gauntlet, it was a cool comic book. It was a really well done epic tale for the time. But they did it way better in Infinity War and Endgame. They improved it. And they utilized characters like Iron Man, who dies in the first 30 seconds of fighting Thanos, and you never really think of him because he wasn't that popular a character then. And they made him one of the most popular characters of all time. And he is the heart of why that movie works. Why Endgame is. He's the precipice that saves everything. And we go forth and we watch the Oscars shit on the things that we love. And this year is no different. We had Endgame 2 years ago, and I'm counting it from 2021. I know it's 3 because we're in 2022, but counting it from the movies. 2019, we had Endgame. And they topped it. They topped it with Spider-Man No Way Home by giving us our childhood mixed with this new thing and an in-between that we didn't even know we loved as much as we did. And a beautiful story. And it's nobody gives a shit. over at the Oscars, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Nobody gives a shit. They give a shit when those checks come in, when they can make money off of them, but they don't want that to be a representation. And I challenge people to go back and take out like the Black Panthers and the really popular movies that I feel the Academy felt they were forced to put in. And try and think about some of the movies, even just the best pictures, some of the movies that were nominated. You can't remember them all. There's certain ones that stick out, of course. But come on. Far less. If you look at the National Film Registry, our National Film Registry, this is the registry in our country that says these movies need to be remembered. If you're a movie fan, these are the movies you need to make sure you see in your life. This is how important these movies are to our society. That is the whole point of the National Film Registry. We need to preserve these movies. The heavy majority weren't even nominated. What does that tell you? And I guarantee you, a lot of those Marvel movies are going to be on that list. And it's only 825 movies. And a lot of those movies aren't nominated. I had to go through the list to kind of figure that out. I don't have the exact number of how many were versus how many weren't. But it is the heavy majority were not nominated for Oscars. So before I go to the comments, I want to say I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Academy Awards. And now following suit in a lot of ways, all of these other award shows, we already know the Grammys are complete bullshit. And everything else, following suit of what the Academy Awards really got the ball rolling on and how they do things, are bullshit. I think, give it up. We need to stop watching. We need to show them, no, we don't care about what your choices are. Our choices are this. Because if you look at the People's Choice Awards or things like that, which are still bullshit, let's be real. But for the most part, the people do get a chance to vote on that. Their nominations look a lot different than any of the other award shows where it's introverted voting. And that's why I'm tired of these clubs and this bullshit. And that's why I'm sick and tired of seeing that things aren't going to ever come about or be fixed by this. So thanks for joining my TED Talk. I'm going to go over the comments. I know, AJ, you said a few things. Looking forward to this epic dissertation. It wasn't epic by any means, my friend. Hollywood is afraid to acknowledge the perfection of success. It's all biased and paid for. Boycott Oscars. 100% agree. I mean, we should be boycotting the Oscars for how they treat minority filmmakers in a whole. That right there, the Oscars So White wasn't bullshit. And it still exists. They may go a year and they're like, okay, we're going to nominate as many people of color as we can. And then the very next year, it's completely back to how it was. And it's complete and utter bullshit. But they do it. And that's what they do. And that's how Hollywood handles things. I said this to my wife. We were talking the other day. And I said, you know what the problem in my eyes is? That Hollywood is the problem. You shouldn't be going after celebrities who are taking jobs like, and we talked about it on Geek Fest Live the other day too. I was talking to my wife about it a little more in depth though. How Dakota Johnson was cast as a woman who was younger, Madam Web. And first of all, we don't even have a script, so we can't go by any of that. And then she was also cast, and she's not blind, and that, many people are calling for blind people. It is not Dakota Johnson's fault or Sony's, or not Sony, but the filmmakers making that movie, casting her. Because it's not Sony casting her. It's the filmmakers and producers behind that movie. It's not their fault that they're casting a great actress for this role. That's what they go for. It's Hollywood, the whole structure, the system of all the studios that don't want people with disabilities to rise up as actors or in the industry. That is the bullshit. You see majority of people with disabilities coming in and working on things independently, and they're doing it themselves. And now, as far as filmmakers go, independently is really the only way in the door, because this whole structure is bullshit. They keep out minorities, they keep out the disabled, they keep out so many groups because they don't want to change. They like it the way it is. So you got to blame Hollywood at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. And there is an overarching thing that covers it all. It's not just one studio here, one studio there. There is a whole agreement upon it. But I'm not going to get into all that because it's not conspiracy theories or anything like that. It's just, you see if you look for 5 seconds, you see how it works. And you can't blame any one producer or anything like that. It's not fair. But I do agree. Boycott the Oscars. Boycott the Oscars heavy for many atrocities that they cause. Not just the fact that they're not nominating movies that we love, but that's the point of this talk and how it's kind of bullshit. But overall, yeah, I mean, they're horseshit because it doesn't fit the narrative, Mick. That's right. Never fits their narrative. And they want to control, because remember, actors, they don't really care for the most part. And I've had conversations. They don't really care that they're going to win an award. They care that they're going to get a pay bump. And I do not blame them one bit. That is I'm not against these actors wanting to get a pay bump. You win an Oscar, you can now ask for this amount of money. And especially women still get, it's ridiculous how little they get paid compared to men. And that goes again. White men get paid the most. Women, people of color, their salaries are definitely, it's so disproportionate, it's disgusting. But when you come back, and now talking just about the Academy dictates, you win an Oscar, you can ask for a pay bump. Just a nomination gets you a pay bump. Multiple nominations get you even more of a pay bump. Winning gets you a big pay bump. That's what they want. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some actors who want to win that trophy. We've seen with Bill Murray. After Bill Murray lost, he doesn't even care. He didn't show up. He didn't do any of that stuff anymore. Johnny Depp, the same way. They wanted that award. It wasn't about the pay bump. They're already getting paid. They wanted that award because they want their peers to respect them and their work. But it's just all self-indulgent bullshit. AJ, Kevin Feige should create his own awards for pop culture, comics, and sci-fi, etc. The only thing I disagree with that is that Kevin Feige should do it. Now, the man deserves an award. He's a great producer with a lot of foresight, and he's been in this business, especially the superhero business, almost since the beginning in terms of movies. He knows what he's talking about. He was the man to get Tobey Maguire back, Andrew Garfield back, make what is coming a reality, and bring all these things to the forefront, because he worked on all those movies. If you're going to make a pop culture, comic, sci-fi, horror, things that does that, an award show, and I wouldn't even make it so much set on that. Those would be categories, in my opinion. You want to make it a movie awards that really celebrate the movies that come out that people are enjoying and loving. It's got to be a whole new organization that's just open and ready to go. And it's got to be somebody like, and I can speak from true and honest experience of only running one award show a year. It's a lot to take on. It is a lot to take on. And, you know, it goes right down, all the way down. Because even like the Independent Spirit Awards, they leave so many great independent movies out because they don't fit a certain criteria, this, that, or the other thing. It's a problem all the way down. So that's really what I came to say. There's going to be a rant more about it tonight, but it's going to include other things. But this is seriously a huge problem. And I wanted to bring it here. I want to put a video out, talk about it a bit, and just kind of share my feelings, especially after looking at the nominations today and saying, that's funny. Some of the best movies of the year were not nominated. Some of the best, mind you. I've watched a lot of these movies, and let me tell you, the story of No Way Home is better than a lot of these. It's way better than Don't Look Up. Again, Don't Look Up had a very simple, easy premise. Very simple and easy. And if you really think about it, all they were doing was making fun of things that were happening in society. Yeah, they wanted to get their message across, and it was entertaining when it wasn't sad. But No Way Home was an actual, from beginning to end, entertaining film that broke your heart, that made you cry, that made you happy, that made you squeal, that everything. It was just a beautiful film. Ghostbusters Afterlife, a beautiful film. Brought back and made you cry, made you happy, made you laugh, everything. And then, like, Dune is the only one that I really truly agree definitely needed to be on that list. Nightmare Alley was a complete bomb. It didn't do well. West Side Story didn't do it. And I'm just basing that off of how well it did financially. And it seems to me like it has to be at this point, because a lot of these are low earning films or straight out, not Dune. Dune was a big one, of course. But, or it's just, or studio backed independent films. Come on. It's just, it's a system that's never going to change unless we change it. You boycott them, but then what do you create? Unless it's created by the fans, it's never going to be anything worth. So, to be completely honest with you, I really truly think that we need to kind of leave the Academy by. Let them do their thing. They want to give out awards. The Golden Globes weren't even televised this year because of how many problems they've caused. If you investigate the Academy Awards, I'm sure you find the same thing. But look how many problems they had that they didn't even televise it this year. And the people who did take part in it are being scrutinized for not calling out the problems. And that is a thing. And I do agree with it. I'm not for cancel culture, but I am for calling out the bullshit and making sure it changes. I think we treat most of these things like Me Too. Me Too, one of the most important movements, is just as important a movement as Black Lives Matter, because it gave women a voice. And both of those important movements are the most important ones that we've seen in a long time. And they need to keep being backed. They need to keep being pushed the right direction with the right people at the helm and taking it forward and changing things for the better. These award shows are not part of that. They're not for the better. They don't help. Celebrities aren't helping. Nobody gives a shit when it comes out of there. So I'm not saying things need to be canceled. I'm not even saying that the Academy Awards needs to be canceled. These things need to be treated like free market. Well, if you're going to be pulling bullshit, we're not going to be watching. Lose your TV licensing or your agreements and such with ABC, I believe it is. That's the way it needs to work. And then they're going to be pissed because all these stars want, everybody in the self-indulgence, all they want is for you and me and everyone else to watch them win. That's what they want. And they want their pay bumps, but I'm for that. I think they should get their pay bumps. But this has been my argument. This is the problem with the Oscars. I think if you learn to leave award shows behind, again, a guy who created an award show for independent podcasts and holds it on the day. The whole point was to hold it on the day of the Oscars to say, hey, just check out the other award show. And the only reason is let's shine a light on some indie podcasts and have some fun. I make nothing from it. I don't do anything with it other than just put it together. Now that means nothing in terms of the world. I'm doing nothing. I'm literally adding nothing. All he said was like, we're going to do an award show. I can't treat it as important. It's important to some people who submit, and I think that's great. And I treat it that way because it's important to them, and I want it to be because it should be. At least it will shine a light, hopefully, and help. But then I think about what that is, and what I'm trying to do, and what this means to me. And I think about all these big award shows, and they mean shit. Because they don't have the heart there. They don't care if people are put out in the forefront. So that's my feelings on it. I mean, again, I also am pretty pissed off about the podcast awards, not because Scene Snobs wasn't nominated, because iHeartRadio is not going to nominate. And I'm not shitting on iHeartRadio. I actually like iHeartRadio, and I like their picks, but it's all celebrity stuff. So, I mean, I know what it is. This is self-indulgence at its finest, and that's what it's supposed to be. Make the money the best way you can. We appreciate you coming on here and voicing your thoughts and opinions. Thank you, AJ. I always appreciate you jumping on with me. You know, you're my co-host of sorts on these things. Totally agree. You know what is a good solution to this horrible news about the Oscars? Casey and you on YouTube tonight, and the book of Boba Fett finale tonight and early morning. Can't wait to hear Casey's thoughts. Yes, we are going to do a rant. I'm going to and I came on here to kind of dissect it a little bit. It's going to be more of a fun rant, but if you guys are interested, join up tonight, 9 p.m. The Scene Snobs podcast is going to be live. We're going to be talking about a lot of fun things. I'm telling you the topics. So we're going to rant about the Oscars. We're going to talk about some funny news that happened in Portland with a DEA agent, as I say in quotes, and some other things, some other topic conversation. We're going to touch down on Kim and Kanye and that whole debacle. And then we will be talking about fictional sports teams that we'd like to see go to head in each sport. So you could say like the Little Giants versus, I don't know, another kid's team. Or it doesn't even have to be a kid's team. It could be like the Titans. Remember the Titans? That'd be pretty funny. Whether or not we should be part of the Illuminati, I doubt it after my rant today, but maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll talk about it. And the third topic is what video game would you choose to play if you were in the game physically and the stakes were real, live or die? So those are the topics for this evening. Hope you guys enjoy them. We will be there. If you do not watch, you can watch anytime on our YouTube channel. Just hit that that subscribe button. Or you can listen on any podcast platform. It is available. Just go to thescenesnobs.com for links. All right, everybody. I am Mick Manhattan. I am the Scene Snob. I appreciate you. Oh, I think we had one more. I got some good fictional sources. I can't wait for you to join in, bud. I want to hear them. And remember, anytime you want to talk about this or more, head over to our Discord. It's free to join. It's on thescenesnobs.com. We got a link right there. Come hang out with us. Talk to us. AJ's a moderator. And we just are just having fun with it. So let's just hang out like we're in the video store playing NHL 96 and drinking Mountain Dew back in the day. That's the feel I go for anyway. But anyway, I am Mick Manhattan. I'm part of the Scene Snobs, and hopefully you guys can join in and have some fun with us. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest Live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.